This video is only a supporting presentation for this blog post on a simple CCTV system made out of a Raspberry Pi 3 that can be controlled over the internet. I have given the link of this blog post below so that you can go through the blog post, then you can view this video for the clarifications on the installation procedure. Here in this setup, the topic is how to control motionEye CCTV system on a Raspberry Pi 3 remotely using balenaCloud. You may know how to install motionEye CCTV on a Raspberry Pi 3 system and local view and control on local network. But our task is to view and control over the internet using the balenaCloud. balenaCloud can connect your devices into the balenaCloud and you can view the devices and control over the internet. In that case, we will have to download balenaCloud compatible device image that is also compatible with Pi 3. In this setup, I am using a USB camera connected to the Raspberry Pi 3, and this is the network camera, Equation network IP camera. First, you will have to have a balenaCloud account. You will have to sign up for balenaCloud account, then create an application for the Raspberry Pi 3 that we are going to install motionEye. Then download the image, that balena image, and then you will have to write that image into a SD card that we are going to use with the Raspberry Pi 3. After writing that image to the SD card, you will have to insert the SD card into the Raspberry Pi, then power on the Raspberry Pi so that it can be that Raspberry Pi device can be connected to the balenaCloud. Then you will have to install your motionEye on that device. This procedure I will show here. This is the balenaCloud web GUI. You will have to have a Balena account, therefore you will have to sign up and have a Balena account. I already have a Balena account. I am going to use it to download the image. Here is my username and password of the balenaCloud account. Here the password, we will get the password. Login. Now I am going to create an application for the device, Raspberry Pi device. Here you have to press that, and you have to name the application. So you have to use any name. I am going to use motionEye balena. After naming that, you will have to choose the device type that will compatible with your Raspberry Pi 3. Here I am using Raspberry Pi 3, this one, using 64-bit OS Raspberry Pi 3. After entering that, we'll have to press this button and create the application. This is the application we are going to use to connect the Raspberry Pi 3, and we will have to add the device, Raspberry Pi device. Here we are going to download the Raspberry Pi 3 compatible balenaCloud image. Before downloading, we will have to enter your Wi-Fi credentials here. Then only you can connect it through Wi-Fi. That device can be connected to the balenaCloud. Here I am entering my Wi-Fi credentials here. Login credentials. ID my one. Then Wi-Fi password here. After entering that, I am going to download the image. You can see here the image is being downloaded. After downloading the image, you will have to unzip it and extract the zip image. This is the image. It has downloaded to the downloads folder. You have to extract it. Here, this is the balenaCloud image that we are going to use with the SD card. Now you will have to write that image to your SD card. For that I am using balenaCloud. This balenaCloud. From image is at the download folder. This is the image, and the target is our SD card 16 and flash. Use here password here. The writing has begun. The now validating started. You have finished writing. After writing that, write in the image, you will have to copy it to you will have to insert that SD card into your Raspberry Pi and power. After powering on the Raspberry Pi, you can see from this yellow bar your Raspberry Pi device is connected to the balenaCloud. Now it is connected to the balenaCloud. Now you can control that this Raspberry Pi device using the balenaCloud. Now we are going to install motionEye Docker repository on this device. We are going to enter into the device. You can see this is the Balena terminal. Using this Balena terminal, we are going to pull Docker corresponding motionEye Docker image. For that, we will have to log in to Balena. For login to Balena, you are using the same Docker login credentials. In that case, you will have to have a Docker account. Otherwise, you don't have the login credentials. Balena login. And the username. Password, Docker password here. The login is succeeded. Now we have logged into the Balena. This is the motionEye Docker repository that we are going to use here. C. Krishnan motionEye. He was the he is the founder of motionEye software. This is the Docker command we are using here. Instead of Docker, we are using Balena. In the Docker commands, we use here Docker create. But for the Balena, you will have to use instead of Docker Balena. Have you noticed that we are not using sudo command here. Our port is 80 here. Name of the container that we are going to make with motionEye is motionEye. This command is for connecting your USB camera to the device. This is your time zone. You will have to use your time zone. I have used my time zone here. We have pulled C. Krishnan with this extension. This extension is for the Raspberry Pi. Otherwise, other versions are not compatible with the Raspberry Pi. ARM HL. This will pull motionEye Docker image and create a container called motionEye. After that, we will have to start motionEye using Balena. Start motionEye. Now pulling has been completed. you will have to enter here Balena start motionEye for starting the container. Now container is at the starting mode, motionEye. Now you are going to get the public URL so that you can enter into the motionEye CCTV setup and configure. For that you will have to place the button one position to get the public URL. By clicking here, you will make it on public URL. Go to actions and you get the public URL here. Now we have got the motionEye setup. We have to configure the motionEye setup. For the admin credentials, the default credentials are username admin and password is blank. Later on you will have to change the default password for the safety. Here you see a statement to create a at the camera. This is my USB camera, has been identified by the motionEye setup. This USB camera. Now we are adding a USB camera. Now we can see the USB camera view here. After that we will have to at the start we will have to change the admin password host your safety. Please set up admin password and the surveillance username also and password we will have to change. Then we will have to press this apply button to register these changes. Every time you change something here, you will have to register it by applying, pressing apply button. Re-logging using your change passwords. After that you can configure the camera brightness, the file storage. We are going to upload the motion detected events to a Google Drive or some other cloud account. If you press that, you get I am going to use Google Cloud, Google Drive. Then This is the name of the subdirectory in Google Drive that we are going to use as a storage. Now you will have to enter your authorization key for Google Drive. So that you will have to press this obtain key. Then you will direct into the Google account, and it will create a key. Then you will have to copy that key here and apply key has to be pressed for registration. After pressing allow key, you will get the authentication key. Then you will have to use that authentication key has to be pasted on that page. Authentication key from the Google account, you will have to copy and paste the key here and press the apply button to save changes. Then you can test the service whether uploading can be okay. Done. Test the service. Then access in the upload the service succeeded. That means it is okay. Then you can make other changes here. If you want, you can change the other parameters here. Then still images, you can see preserve pictures. The period of preserving can be changed here, or you can keep the saved images forever in the SD card, or get deleted within after 1 week or 1 year. So on, you can change it here. And capture mode also you can change it here. Here the default value is manual. You can change it to motion trigger. If you change it to motion triggered, then motion detection events will be saved. 1 week, because we are using a small 16 GB SD card, otherwise it will be full of saved images. Motion triggers. The movies also we can change the preserve period also you can change it. Maximum movie length also you can change it. Default value is 0, that means it won't save any videos in the SD card. If you change it to some value, then suppose we are going to have 5-second videos, then if you put here 5, then it will save 5-second videos. Week and save the changes. Then motion detection. the motion detection gap can be changed here, and the maximum motion frames you can change it here. If you make it small, then it will be activated even a small change, small movement. You make it high, then it will not so sensitive. Here the motion notification, that means if you want to push email alerts, you will have to make this button to on position. On position. Then you will have to fill up these cages for emailing. You will have to fill your receiving email address, SNTV server, that is sntv.gmail.com, SNTV port, as usual it is 537, SNTV account, your Gmail address here, password of the Gmail address, home address, it is also same email address, Gmail address here. Then you can change this TLS button to on position. Attach with the time span. This default value is 0. If you change it, if you increase, you will get more pictures in an email. Pictures, so videos. After making changes, you can test whether the email facility is activated by testing email button. It's on position. You can save the changes, then you can test whether email facility is okay. Notification email successful, that is emailing is okay. If you press this one, you can see the saved images in the SD card. These are the motion detection images. You can delete it. These are the motion detection video clips saved in the SD card. You can download the images, of course. I have added the network camera with camera 2 here. Up to now I have shown you the URL to get the motion eye setup. But without public device URL, you can get the motionEye setup desktop using the local area IP address. To get the local area IP address, you can use Angry IP scanner to get the IP address of local IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Now we are using Angry IP scanner. When you press this start button, you will get the IP addresses. From that you can find this is a network camera, IP address of the network camera. Here this is the IP address of your motionEye at the Raspberry Pi. This is the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. If you using this one, you can access the motionEye desktop. So you can do the configuration what I did for public URL, using the public URL. This is the local IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Using that one also you can do the configuration of motionEye. Sir, I am going to paste the IP address of the local IP address of the Raspberry Pi. There also you can get the motionEye desktop. This is the motionEye desktop that I have got using the local IP address of the Raspberry Pi. This is using the desktop using the public URL. I have so far I have done configuration of motionEye using the public URL. Here you can do the same thing using the local IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Now I am going to show how we can get the motionEye setup using a mobile phone, and we are going to use the public URL for accessing the motionEye desktop with the in my mobile phone. You can see this is my mobile phone. I have got the same motionEye setup. This is remotely. This is not in the local area network. I have used the data, mobile data here, not Wi-Fi facility. It is I have accessed the same thing over the internet, mobile phone, using the public device URL. You can see the camera view, and you have shown. I have shown the here. I will show you again. This is the setup, motionEye setup. You can make changes over the internet using this mobile phone. motionEye setup can be changed. Now we can see the email alerts I received. Email alerts. If you go to Google Drive, you can see the saved images that have been pushed by the motionEye setup. It is in the motionEye subfolder. These are the motion detection events, video clips and pictures.